I am a genius.
Oh, I will agree with that. Yeah,
Yes,
you are a genius
yes.
to some degree. Absolutely.
Let's go back to our lost episode. We have an episode that was lost. Yes?
Yeah.
You will agree with me on that?
And what we just talked about, by the way, on camera, will not make it to
Thank
the
you.
podcast. You're welcome. You're welcome. Some of us have grit. Others of us, on the other hand, some of us are not afraid. Some of us are. It's okay. It's okay that you're scared.
It's not that I'm afraid.
Oh, really?
It's that
You value your life because she would kill you. This person would kill you? Is this...
I'm not a mean person. I think these things internally, and I can talk to my friends about them, but I would never do that to somebody in a public setting around people I didn't know and bash their name. That's not fair.
I just want to let you know I am relishing in this moment of
you
watching
are.
you just squirm in your seat.
I feel like I need some makeup because my face is all red.
Don't worry, I would never publish anything that is sensitive material to you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
If there's anybody out there that believes that, you have not watched us enough. They do not know you or me. All right, so let's go back to what you were talking about. You said,
what was I talking about?
I don't remember.
All right. We have a lost episode.
We have a lost episode, yes.
So it was brought to my attention that our episode 1 that we released 2 weeks ago, because we are behind a week because of technical difficulties.
Correct.
So our episode 1 that we released, in that episode, we talk about episode 1. And you're also on there as like a co-host. Well, what we forgot to explain when we recorded our second episode, because we didn't know we had to explain it, was that our first episode that we recorded, our first official episode together, with you coming back as the co-host of the No Direction podcast, we recorded an entire episode. It was amazing, but nobody will ever hear it. It will never be released.
What happened?
Because there's no audio.
What happened?
I don't know. You're the sound guy. I mean, we recorded a sample, and the sample went well, and it was flawless.
Flawless.
And then we recorded the episode. Everything was set up nicely.
It was set up nicely.
Are we playing the repeater?
I'm just in a full agreement with what you're saying.
Meow.
I'm just waiting for you to insult me for
No.
screwing up the
Why
audio.
would I insult you?
Well, because
Insult you.
well, that's what friends do.
No. Well, I said I said insult.
What?
You. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
What is it? Okay. Well,
welcome back.
well, thank you.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
so good to be back because I missed our time apart because we have this chemistry.
Yeah.
I know that. You know that. Everybody out there who
Now
watches
they know that.
They do know that there's we have a specific dynamic that I don't share with anybody else that I podcast with. I podcast with quite a few people on a number of different shows, but I tell you what, podcasting with you is a little different.
It's
a little different. I don't know why I'm doing the mafia thing right now, but podcasting with you is a bit different.
Because you're weird and nobody knows how weird you are.
Now, wait a minute.
Yes.
I'm conservative, not weird, okay? I'm the conservative one.
Okay.
And
you just pulled out The Godfather out of nowhere.
Well, I did.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we just don't want to go to the mattresses on this, okay?
No, we don't.
Do you know what that means?
Well, I do because I watched the movie You've Got Mail.
Oh, God. Where Tom Hanks is
right, he's like, let's go to the mattresses.
Go to the mattresses. Yeah.
Leave the guns, take the cannolis.
The fact that that's how you know that reference is quite disturbing to me. Then again, you're going to call me sexist again.
Go for it.
It's not surprising to me that a female would not understand the Godfather reference. It's not typically a lady type movie. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that The Godfather is not typically a movie that is directed at females. Yes, I would agree with that.
Right, because there's all this violence. There is a love story there. They love themselves more than their own wives.
I don't care about the love
story. You don't care about the love
story? I actually like really violent movies. I love I love action movies. One of my favorite movies growing up, it's so stupid. is what's that one where the bugs came to life? They were huge, and the humans were fighting them. It was like in the 90s.
Creep Show and the roaches.
No.
Remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm not as old as you.
What are you talking about? The insects came to life?
Well, the insects are already alive, so they didn't really come to life. They were already alive, but they're like giant insects, and it was like a 1990s movie, and it was like, I don't know. Anyways, Neil Patrick Harris was in it.
Interesting.
NPH.
Yeah, you should
look that up. I love that guy. I'm looking it up.
You like him?
Neil Patrick Harris, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he on, what was that show he was on? It was a hospital show, wasn't it? No.
Yeah,
it was a comedy
Doogie Howser.
sitcom.
Neil Patrick Howser is Doogie Howser, yeah.
I just put that together, seriously. I did not.
Did you really?
No, I always thought of him as, what is that other show he was on?
Starship Troopers.
No,
that's the movie with the bugs.
Starship
Troopers. It's really dumb, but it's super violent and gross. What are you talking about?
Neil Patrick Harris is violent.
Are you talking about How I Met Your Mother? No, he was a scientist in the movie. I don't think he actually fought the bugs. I think he was like a scientist behind the scenes
Neil
or
Patrick
something.
Harris doing any kind of fighting does not check out.
Yeah, How I Met Your Mother is I think what you're thinking.
Yeah, probably
right?
so.
Yeah, that guy's rad. I really like him.
Yeah, you know what? What was on the other night, and hadn't watched it in years. Die Hard. That's a pretty violent movie for its time, at least.
Yes. Yeah.
You know. Mm-hmm. You know, Hans. You know, kind of a deal. So.
Yeah. Well, the fact that he walked through glass with bare feet.
He did. He did. That was.
I wonder if Home Alone got it from there.
I don't know, but I can't stop. I have to rewind it on two parts on Home Alone. The two funniest parts, in my opinion. Number one is where he steps on that nail, and you watch the nail just go right through his foot. Oh,
yeah, that looks real.
I can't stop laughing.
It
does look real.
Yeah.
The other part of that show that I just can't stop laughing is when the tarantula is on Joe Pesci's chest, and he grabs the crowbar, and he goes, "Be still."
He's like, "No."
Joe Pesci's on the ground going,
"No,
Marv." I just can't stop laughing. It's hilarious. It's one of the greatest Christmas movies ever.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I told you, I texted you the other night that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is back.
Yeah.
So you can actually watch it for free on Netflix.
I haven't checked that out yet. Would you explain to me briefly what that's about again? Because I don't remember.
It's a comedy cop show. That's it. It's got Terry Crews,
like
Adam
Super
Sandberg. But made for TV. So it's not like raunchy like Super Troopers. But it's funny. They do play random games and stuff, but not I wouldn't necessarily put it in the same category.
Rat meow?
Rat meow?
Rat meow? Yeah.
I'll cut them up.
Oh my God. Why do you have to do that? What about liter of cola? You could have said liter of cola. You didn't have to go there.
Goddamn liter of cola.
That was hilarious.
We can cut that out.
Liter of cola. We're not cutting it out. Do you want to cut it out? This is not that kind of podcast, is it? Where we're cutting stuff out? No.
So what I've been doing lately is telling people about my podcast, and it feels like the older crowd.
Oh, hold on. Your podcast?
Our podcast.
That's not what you said.
I didn't. No.
Let's rewind that. Mm-hmm. Start over.
I've been telling people about my podcast.
Let's rewind that. Take two.
I've been telling people about the podcast that I'm on. No? One more time?
I think it's our podcast.
Our podcast. There
Start over again.
People have been really curious about our podcast.
I agree. I get asked about it all the time. Please
and
continue.
they want to know what it's about.
Yeah.
And I say, well, we're real. And we say what we think. And sometimes it's movie quotes. And sometimes the people who are asking about the podcast, I'm thinking, I don't think this is the right podcast for you. But then it goes back to authenticity.
Yeah.
And who people are around different people. You know, like when you're at an after hours business event, it's a very much a different feel, and people behave differently than a morning business event, right?
Yeah.
Versus let's go out, same business people, but let's go out as friends. I mean, there's like 3 different ways that you're going to behave in those situations.
There is. And on today we're talking about authenticity, right?
Yeah.
We eventually got there, but we're here now.
Yes, we're here now. I needed to introduce you as the host coming back on.
Yeah.
And because we forgot to introduce you in episode 1, because episode 1 is lost.
Episode 1 is lost.
So episode 2 is episode 1. Now this is episode 3, which is episode 2. It's all very confusing.
It's all very confusing, but
just follow along. You're fine.
Yeah, just follow along because it says it in the title. We have no direction.
No,
we really don't. We're just trying to make it work like every one of you. Okay.
We don't even know what we're talking about.
We really don't. We really don't. But we're pretty good at acting like we have some answers for the world.
Yes.
For the world at large out there, we do have some answers for you.
Yeah. Whether they're the right answers, you have to decide for yourself.
Yeah, we don't know if they're right or not. So don't hold us accountable. You cannot sue us.
Don't try this at home, kids.
This is not advice. Nothing we say is advice.
Dangerous stunts ahead.
Matter of fact, if I could advise them in any way, shape, or form, I'd say do the exact opposite of everything that we say.
Right.
You probably will be fine.
Well, our attorneys have told us to tell people not to follow our directions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe. Yeah.
Disclaimer: we're not responsible for anything you do.
Entertainment value only.
What you hear here.
Yes, only for entertainment value.
Are you really checking your
Somebody
watch?
Somebody texted me.
Really?
Oh, my husband. Are you at home? Should I tell him I'm not home?
Don't tell him you're with a dude. Don't tell him you're with me.
Where is he? He's supposed to be at tryouts.
I don't know, but I think we should get into authenticity.
Yeah.
And before we're derailed again.
Yeah. Well.
By Mike.
Talking about authenticity.
I think he purposely derails this
episode
so? Today.
Yeah,
probably.
He's trying to destroy this episode. Yeah. Something about this one.
There's something about this one.
Well, I was actually talking to somebody about authenticity the other day.
Yeah.
And
nice segue, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. My husband is always, it feels like he's always authentic. However, he too puts on masks in different situations. Like he'll tamper down or whatever his reactions to certain things, and when he's around his friends he's one way. And
I think it's appropriate. I think that's something that we learn to do as we mature. I think I've been talked about behind my back at certain morning groups because in the morning, and because you know me, I am who I am that morning. And I am who I walk out the door. And when you see me at the grocery store on Wednesday or Thursday, I'm the exact same dude.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call BS.
What?
Because when you and I went to midget wrestling the other day.
Are you allowed to say that? You racist.
Actually, racist. You sizist.
Well, I really think you need to explain to the audience why you feel the need that you can say a midget,
let's
the word
back
midget,
up a little
when
bit.
you're over 5 foot tall.
Right. Yes, I should explain myself as we're being authentic. Yep. You and I went to Micromania midget wrestling.
Indeed we did, yeah.
And
shout out to 25 cent
25
out
cent.
there. 25
Here we go.
Cent. Yep.
So he is one of the athletes.
Athlete performer.
I would call athlete
Absolutely.
performer. And it was a really cool show. It was a really great environment, and we did have the opportunity to talk to a few of the athlete performers and some of the production staff, right?
Yeah.
And we asked them about the word midget.
Yeah, we did.
And because we were curious, because we had heard that it's not such a great word.
Yeah.
One of them, 25 Cent, explained to us it's not derogatory if you don't make it derogatory.
Yeah.
So if you don't say, you freaking midget, that would be derogatory. Yeah. But if you say something like, that guy's a midget, just matter of fact.
Well, remember, he said he wasn't even offended by the word midget when someone was saying, a little black midget or whatever, because he's a black dude. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking, man, double whammy in culture, that kind of a thing.
Right.
And, it was interesting to me to hear that they were more offended about being called little people than they were midget. It's like, I'm not little. I mean, I'm not less than everybody else. I have all your organs.
Sure, yeah.
They would rather be called midget than they would be little people.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, I still can't wrap my mind around that because I'm so used to being politically correct when it comes to, I almost said little people again, and they don't like that. They like to be called midgets.
Which is interesting because there's a show called Little People, Big World.
I know. It's also
right?
very
and
confusing.
So I feel like within their community, they there's some discrepancies within their own community,
Sure,
right? And so this particular group of people that we were around did not care either way if we use the word midget. So we use midget. I can't remember what segue brought us here.
I don't
But
remember.
we were talking about authenticity.
Well,
You being one, you saying you're the same at the grocery store and you're the same at Chamber. Okay.
For the most part, I am.
I've seen you a little different at midget wrestling.
Okay.
You let your hair down a little bit. I think your hair grows a little bit. Your Def
I'm not
Leppard
drinking Mai
shirt
Tais
comes
and
out.
drinking a beer while I'm at business meetings. Okay. So there is a social construct.
You untuck your shirt a little bit. You get a little bit more.
Well, I think just because you dress according to the social construct that you're in doesn't mean you're not authentic. It means you're adjusting to the environment.
Sure.
If it was raining, I'd wear a raincoat. I don't like rain, but so if I went out without a raincoat, that doesn't mean I'm not being authentic. I'm just I'm dressing according to the construct I'm in.
Well, me saying you untucked your shirt means you're getting a little bit more comfortable.
Oh, that wasn't literal. That was not literal.
No.
I'm like, well, my shirt is untucked now. I'm wearing a Def Leppard shirt. I probably wouldn't
You
normally
go in
wear
with
this.
your
I've
shirt.
got my AC/DC coffee cup.
You go in with your shirt untucked all the time. You know what?
Drink you gave me.
I'm going to totally squirrel out on you real quick. So I saw your bracelet. What does your white bracelet say?
My white bracelet says "I save lives."
Okay, we'll get back to that and what that means to you. We can talk about it later if you want.
Okay,
but
yeah, sure.
I saw it out of the corner of my eyes, and you know what I saw is Paul Davis.
I don't know who that is.
So Paul Davis is a restoration company.
Okay.
And I don't know why my brain read Paul Davis. I think it saw the IVS maybe on there. This morning when I was leaving my house, there's a house around the corner from me, and there's a big Paul Davis truck, and there was a bunch of stuff in their front yard, and the Paul Davis employees were in full hazmat gear. So I'm curious if maybe something went awry in that house, and perhaps there was a dead body in there for a minute.
Like an Amityville type thing?
I don't know what that is. Is it like a horror story murder thing? Because then yes.
You don't know what the Amityville horror story is?
No.
Oh, dear Lord.
Is it true crime?
No, it is based on a true story.
Oh.
You want to watch the 1970-something version. It's called Amityville Horror. It is based on a true story.
I can't do old
It
TV.
is. I think it's based in Maine.
Do they have a new one? Do they have a new version of it now?
It is terrifying. Probably. I think Rob Zombie did something.
Rob Zombie, his stuff's crazy scary.
His stuff is crazy scary.
His mind
I could be mistaken on that, but
is nuts.
But yeah,
anyways,
you'll want to see the Amityville.
I did not see a body, but I saw a restoration company who typically can clean up after crime scenes.
Sure.
And
they make great money doing that.
Oh yeah, and their employees are head to toe in hazmat gear. I mean, I'm not starting rumors here, but I'm just saying that there might have been somebody dead in that house for a minute.
Well, they're authentically dead if that's the case. So back to authenticity.
Right. They weren't faking their death. That's for sure.
Oh, God, about 3 jokes just went through my head. Authenticity.
Yes. What do you think about authenticity? Do you think... So I think it's okay to put on a certain kind of mask in different situations, right? So if I'm going out and I'm promoting my business,
sure,
I'm going to present myself in a professional manner, and I'm going to change the type of language that I choose, the type of words that I use, more professional situation, right? However, on the other side, we always want to do business with people we mesh well with, right? It always makes for a better business environment, a better connection, a better relationship in business. But at a certain point, you can't behave the same with a client as you can with a friend, I don't think.
No, I agree with you.
But can you be authentic in both situations? Is that being authentic in both situations?
Well, I think that you can, and this is why. I think a lot of people confuse maturity. Some people say maturity is when you no longer care. I can be myself all the time. I find that to be very immature. The mature way, and it's been flipped, the mature way is to be able to read the room, read your environment, and to be able to not be disruptive to the environment, yet
Sure.
still at the same time be able to be your authentic self, personality-wise. When you walk into a situation, let's say, I don't know, let's say a chamber meeting on a Friday morning at 7:20
Since that's
a.m.
what we know best, right?
That's what we know, right? You walk in there and you are your authentic self. You don't care what anybody thinks, etc. People may see that person as someone who doesn't really take their job seriously. They can mistake your humor, and this has happened to me at chamber and other places, where I'm very laid back. I don't take the world very seriously. I just don't. Life is too short. That's my outlook.
Sure.
I live with a lot of peace and freedom, etc. And there are times that I just take everything very lightly, and a lot of people in the room don't. They're very serious. They're very professional, and they expect you to be that as well.
Right.
And so I've had to, over time, adjust my humor to who I'm around. You have
Yes.
to read the room, and that takes work. And
Absolutely.
lazy people don't like to do that, and they call it maturity when they don't have to do what they're too lazy to do. When in fact, if you really want to connect with other people, which I would say is one of the most fascinating things a human can do, is connect with another human being. It's very selfless to dress according to the social construct or environment you're in so that you can connect with that person. To me, that shows that is all based in love
Sure.
and connection.
More of a respect situation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
more than it is, well, I'm going to be who I am. You see all the I's I'm using in those statements. It's very self-centered, and I would say immature. Some people may disagree with that, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's the way I view it.
Right.
But you can be your authentic self and still dress according to the occasion. Nobody goes to, well, not nobody. As a former pastor, I've done lots of weddings, and I'll tell you what, people come to weddings dressed all kinds of different ways, hammered, etc.
Yeah.
But is that respectful? No, it's not respectful. Can you wear a tuxedo or a suit to a wedding or a funeral and still be your authentic self?
I just like wearing white dresses to weddings.
How many have you had? No judgment. Hey, look.
Not my own wedding, other people's weddings.
That could be
that's
confusing.
appropriate, right?
That could be confusing to the audience.
Yeah. Do you think that there is there's an overdoing it of trying to be respectful in the group, almost being fake? Like you're not adhering to your own true self because you in this situation, and maybe it's a room that you really don't belong in, and it doesn't have anything to do with you so much as it has to do with them, and it's just not the right time and space for you. Because you do want to be true to who you are, and yes, I believe it. You should be respectful, right? You don't want to,
But where's the line between being respectful and you being full of shit?
Right.
Like just putting out this bull crap persona. And I think there's a difference between pretending to be someone you're not and adhering to and being respectful of your construct, whatever construct you're in. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that's going on, but to be respectful of the individual, regardless of what they believe. I think there's great value in that, and it takes a great amount of maturity to do that.
Sure.
It just does.
Yeah. Well, if you watch a group of teenagers or middle schoolers, let's just go back to middle school.
Sure. That's why we act sometimes.
Dang, middle school teachers.
Yeah.
They are like the true heroes. They're, oh my gosh. Middle schoolers, their brains are still developing, right? So they're still figuring out who they are.
Yeah.
So they feel like they should have the opportunity to be authentic and be themselves, but they don't know who that is. So talk about the real chameleons of the world, right?
Yeah.
And trying to figure out where they fit. And so like in a school environment where you're expected to behave one way, right? So that you're not disruptive to people. Middle schoolers in general, still trying to figure out who they are, don't necessarily fit in those social constructs, you know? And so not that the environment isn't right for them, but they're still learning, I need to be respect. It's about respect. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about everybody else around me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be about me.
Well, and it very well may be the right environment. They just haven't discovered that yet.
Sure.
And we have to give them room and space to move and breathe and walk about the cabin, so to speak.
Right.
So that they can discover things. I've known people who, especially like in the church setting, said, hey, we need to volunteer to do this or do that or work with children. Hey, man, dude, I don't work with kids, man. I'm just not good with kids. Would you mind doing it just one Sunday? They do it one Sunday and they're hooked, and they find a gift they didn't know that they had of dealing with it. And it's the same way with kids. This is why we make our kids play some sport every single season. They never have a season off. We make them do something because unless you start mining life for those different opportunities, you may miss your gift.
Right.
You can have gifts that you don't even know that you have.
Sure.
But, I think that when we respect people, regardless of what they think, how confused they may be at the time, if you respect that person, that is the gateway to actually becoming someone who loves that person. You can love somebody and not respect them.
Sure.
But you can't respect somebody and not love them. No. How was that going to wait? Did
you just confuse yourself?
It sounded so good in my head.
Here you go, trying to be all philosophical on this show about nothing, and then it all crashes down.
Oh, geez.
So you can love somebody and not respect them, but you can't respect somebody without loving them. Yes?
Well,
is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think you can respect
somebody
somebody without loving them.
Because I can respect somebody and not like them.
Absolutely. But
I can respect what you're trying to do with your life, but I don't want any part of it.
Okay, let me clarify. Where does your willingness to respect somebody come from? Where does that come from?
For me, it's sitting back and listening and having a conversation with them to figure out who they are, how they think the way that they think. I think respect is, I don't necessarily buy into that respect is earned. I think respect can just be given, but it can definitely be taken away, right? Like I can walk into a room of business professionals or teenagers or young children and respect every single person in there that I've never met and leave that room respecting two of them, And so I don't necessarily buy into respect as earned. I think you can earn respect back. Yeah. It's a lot harder to do that than just keeping it. And so just sitting back and listening and having that conversation with somebody to figure out, are you on the same page? And if you're not, I feel like listening to somebody without formulating a response, and then once they're done with their piece, formulating a response and having an open conversation, I think that's the most respectful thing you guys can do, or two people can do.
So you're saying that when you first meet somebody or you're in a group, there's a level of kind of intrinsic respect that, okay, I respect everybody to a degree. Mm-hmm. But by the time you're done talking with people and listening to people and watching, you walk away with more respect for some than others.
Sure.
Yeah, so I agree. And so for me, respect is earned. And I don't think there's whether it is for you or not, Cyril, I think it's an individual choice of because respect is a currency. It is a currency, like you said. It can be It can be earned and it can be lost. Mm-hmm. Well, same thing with money, right? It can be earned and it can be lost.
Absolutely.
I start off the same way too. I have respect for everyone that I'm in the room with until I have a reason not to, and I get to decide what those terms are. Right. Now, you and I, we don't agree on a lot. We're great friends. Mm-hmm. We don't agree on a lot, yet we're still great friends.
Right.
And I have a tremendous amount of respect for you, even though I think I'm right.
You're always right. We all know that.
That's impossible. I'm a man. No, but seriously, we don't agree on a lot when it comes to religion and politics, but I have a great amount of respect for you as a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't agree
absolutely,
with what
you have great respect for me.
I don't agree
as a
with
person.
you, but I have an amazing amount of respect for you.
Right. I think the people
now,
that I have.
How does that work? How does that work, though? I mean, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. Okay, so how is it that we're in a room and you said this earlier, we don't agree on a lot of stuff, yet you walked away respecting me like I hope you respect. I know you do.
Right.
And vice versa. Wait a minute. How is it that we don't agree on much, yet you respect me, as opposed to somebody else that you may disagree with?
Yes.
And you don't respect them. Like, what's the difference between respecting someone like me and respecting someone just like me, but you don't respect them, but you respect me? What's the difference?
My biggest respect gauge is sitting back and watching how other people treat other people when they think nobody's looking. And so I don't believe you can earn my respect back after that. Like, it's gone. So if I'm sitting in a room watching how you're interacting and you don't think anybody's watching you.
Yeah.
How are you talking to the people in the room that aren't necessarily your superiors or aren't necessarily the people you're looking up to, right? How do you treat those people?
Yeah.
If you treat them well, you've got my respect almost all day long, right? Yeah. It's hard to lose my respect after that. But it's sit back and watch. So when I first met you, I was working at the chamber. Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
And you came into the chamber as a new member.
Yeah. You had to respect me.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And you have an interesting past.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not something that you try to hide. It's something that you're very open about. Mm-hmm. And so people were aware of this. And I had some people come up to me concerned about your past. And I said, wait a second. Don't come to me. I don't know this guy. I don't know anything about him. Go have a conversation with him. Go do your research. Yeah. And then I was almost a little guarded at first, to be perfectly honest. And I sat back and I watched you. And I said, no, this is a good dude. Like, he treats literally everybody with respect. Every single person in the room gets his full undivided attention when they're having a conversation. And it doesn't matter who you are in the room. In fact, the people in the room that are like, people like to do this. They like to compare the janitor and the CEO, right? Mm-hmm. If you walk into a room and somebody's giving the same respect to the janitor and the CEO, that's somebody to respect.
Absolutely.
And when I watch you walk into the room, the first people you go to are the janitors. You always go to them and say, hello, how are you? What's up? Fist bump. How was your weekend? Every single time without fail. And you almost ignore all of the CEOs, right? That are in the quote unquote, those roles of people. So when I sit back and I watch somebody in a room and how they behave, mm-hmm. that's how you earn respect. And so I was in a situation once where I was at the high school and we were handing out stuff for the baseball team. And my son's girlfriend walked by. And one of the people who I didn't know, but works at the school, was talking to me about this high schooler, about how much trouble this person is and how terrible this high school student is.
And they didn't know.
They didn't know I knew them. They didn't know me. This is the first time I've ever met this person. Yeah. This person works at the school. I have never respected that person since. Yeah. How dare you talk about a high school student to somebody that you don't know and tell me how terrible they are? Shame on you. Yeah. Be better. Do better. So to me, that is my biggest indication on whether or not I'm going to respect you. It doesn't matter if we agree or disagree on politics. I think we can get beyond that. But it's how do you treat people? That's the foundation of respect with me. Yeah.
And that's I agree with you to a degree. I guess the reason why, and I don't know if you meant this as an absolute, like once somebody you lose respect for them, you're done with them, period.
No. Only if they don't treat people right. You can earn respect back if you do other things, right? But if you treat people like garbage, I literally don't.
Not like you had a bad day.
No.
It was kind of a one-offer, or because we've all made mistakes. I've treated people like crap. And I didn't mean to.
Yes.
Actually, I did. But they had it coming.
Right.
But yeah,
it's in general how you come in, your sense of self-worth. Mm-hmm. I'm better than you, therefore I don't have to interact with you, or I'm better than you, therefore go do these things for me. It's that kind of sense. It's not if you're an asshole, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can deal with that. I can work with that. But it's treating people like garbage on a regular basis because of their status or because of who they are.
Well, I think
That
one of the
rubs me
reasons
wrong.
I am the way that I am, not that this needs to be about me, but one of the reasons, as you described, that I'm the way that I am, and I am a CEO. And so my people, so to speak, are not other CEOs necessarily. I respect them, that's fine. But I get along best with the person whose life has been trashed. Whether it was their own doing or whether it happened to them, because in the darkest moments of life, I don't know why this is, I call it blind sight 2020. When you're blind because everything is so dark, all of a sudden you get perfect vision about everything. And you're able to see yourself clearly for once. Why? Because you're crushed. And it's only in those places, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but being in a place of being completely just dismantled and crushed, your name isn't even your name anymore. It doesn't even matter. Your name is 1606-3217, kind of a deal.
Right.
If you just keep your eyes open in the dark, you'll see clearly who you are and who you're not, what you are and what you're not. And at that point, perspective, I would say creeps in, but it creeps in as a 2x4 and hits you. You don't see it coming. You open your eyes, all of a sudden you see it, and you've never seen it before, and it smacks you right in the face, not even in the back of the head, but right in the face. And you realize who you are and who you're not, what you are and what you're not. And in that moment, you see yourself differently, you see people differently, you see God differently, you see politics differently, you see everything around you differently. And all of a sudden, the people that everybody discards have great intrinsic value that you never saw before. And that only came through darkness, suffering, pain, and anguish. And in my opinion, pain and anguish are on two different solar systems. They're not even the same thing.
Sure.
A lot of people equate them, but anguish is a whole nother, I don't even know what it's called. I don't even know what it is,
Right.
but I know it because I felt it.
Right. It's hard to articulate.
Yeah, it really is. But for me, it seems to me that we all hate pain and suffering, right? We all hate it. I don't like it, but I see the value in it. How would you know what good is if you didn't know what evil was? Like, how would you know what right is if you had no idea what wrong was? And how would you know what relief is if you didn't know what pain was? And I think pain shapes us into better people and worse people. But that's our choice.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think pain brings out the best in us in the end. Maybe not during the moments of pain, but in the aftermath, in that hindsight 2020, you're looking back. Man, I just see how my whole life made sense all of a sudden, and it never did before. And the only way I saw it, like I said, is so curious. The only way that I saw it was I saw it when I was in the dark. A guy explained it to me this way. Remember in the old days when people used to take photos and you couldn't let the film hit the light, right? You had to go to a dark room and you would drown it underwater for a little while, and then you'd have to hang it up on this like a clothesline, right? And in the end, when those pictures have sat there for a long time in the dark with that red light on them, I think it's a red light.
It is, yeah.
You have this
magnificent... The red light has nothing to do with the processing.
It doesn't?
No. It just allows... It's the only light you can use in order to see.
Oh, that won't deteriorate the film. Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But when it's all said and done and it's processed, it's this beautiful picture. And the guy told me, he goes, the most beautiful pictures ever taken were developed in the dark. And I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's deep. Look at you get. We went real deep.
We have direction.
Take out the no today. Jamie's getting real deep on us. Authenticity is close to this dude's heart.
All right, well, let's back out of this whole dark room thing. But I think
it's real. I like it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, think about it. We're used to so pretending. We got the filters, the Instagram. Nothing wrong with those things.
There is.
No, there's
okay,
not.
I encourage. Okay, put this thing on me.
China
Put this thing
TikTok.
on me real quick. Okay. I
It's
encourage
yours.
all of you women out here who are listening who always put a filter, please, for the love of everything that is holy, put out one photo that isn't filtered. So if you go missing, we can find you.
First thing in the morning.
We can't find you if you look like a filter. We can't. Please, just one photo. One photo without a filter. One photo please.
Can we toast to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I couldn't agree more.
And men too, if you're doing it all the time too, also, can we just get a smile without a duck face just one time? So smile without a duck face.
Come on. Can you?
And no filter. Just put your driver's license photo up there. It's fine. Then we'll be able to find you.
Face? Is that where the women like? Oh yeah. What is that about? And every time you guys take a photo, you put one hand on your thigh. What is that? I mean, like.
Well, I don't do that. So mine is this. Mine is this. Ready?
That is
so mine is always like mouth wide open. It's like my quintessential Erin selfie pose. Yeah. So I need to take a couple of photos with my mouth closed so you can find me. But those highly filtered, there are some people I look at their Instagram and every photo is highly filtered, even the ones that they take with their children. Your children's photos shouldn't be highly filtered. Please stop doing it. You are beautiful. You are beautiful the way you are. We want to see your true, authentic. No, you're not.
Use the filters.
Face. But for the love of everything, please, just one photo without the filter so we can find you in case of emergency.
Oh, and I think we have a perfect example right here in front of us. And I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about our friend Sasquatch here. You want to show your camera the Sasquatch here?
Look, I got
Sasquatch here
Sasquatch.
has no filter. There's no filter on this guy. I actually thought when you first brought him in, I actually thought he was the Geico caveman. Now, I miss those commercials.
I do too. That kind of brought back during the Super Bowl, though.
They did.
I loved how he was butthurt.
Oh
that was so funny.
He was so upset.
He's so sad.
Yes, they have good insurance.
Well, I got this guy at the Bigfoot Museum in Boring, Oregon.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. We need to have that guy on here and talk about
Cliff,
his Bigfoot series.
Cliff, please come.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to have Cliff on here.
I did message him, and he said he would come out.
Me and Cliff right here.
Do you?
Yeah, somewhere right here.
I did message him.
You checking your watch again?
Well, my daughter texted me this time.
Somewhere.
Well, usually we record at 11:30. Oh, look at you.
Look, yeah, we got to get back to it.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I'll have to look it up some other time. But.
So usually we record at 11:30, but today we're later because I actually, speaking of authentic, I went to the Seroptimus of Gresham Live Your Dream luncheon today.
Okay.
And what's cool about that is they give scholarships to women who are going to school to better themselves. They can have all kinds of different backgrounds, but every single one of these women had at least 3 children while trying to go to school.
Do laundry better, that kind of thing?
Yes, exactly. No, they want to be doctors. One of them was sitting in the crowd, and she had won 14 years ago, and she now has her PhD.
Wow.
None of these women had fewer than 3 children. I mean, they're picking themselves up. It's amazing. But the thing that I think is the coolest thing about this scholarship is they give them cash to use towards whatever they want, in knowing that when you're in school, it's not just the tuition and the books that are expensive, but what if your car breaks down? Or what if your childcare falls through? I mean, those are things that you need money for also in order to be successful when you're going to school. So they give cash scholarships, which I think is really, really cool.
It is a fantastic organization. It has a great history here, has a great reputation here.
Yeah, it is.
Are you gonna do that?
I'm undecided.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Because don't they meet on Thursdays?
They meet every other Thursday, and we record on Thursdays.
Oh, we do record on Thursdays.
Do. And obviously, if we record later in the day, my husband and my daughter constantly text me to see where I'm at, even though my daughter has a tracker and she knows exactly where I'm at.
Which is why you've been checking your phone during our episode.
I've been checking my watch. I did check my phone once.
Yeah, that's
it's
okay.
Fine.
That's all right.
It's fine. You've got 100% of my ADHD attention. It's fine.
It is fine. Mm-hmm. I'm just giving you a hard time. I have to give you a hard time.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be a good co-host.
No, you wouldn't. I do think it's important to be a part of your community and be a part of the things like this, right?
Yeah.
I am a part of a lot of nonprofits. So you really have to do some soul searching and figure out where you can spend all your time because You can't spend all your time, unless you're retired, you can't, or a trust fund baby, you can't just spend all your time doing nonprofit work for free.
No, not at all.
So.
So if you're listening to this and you're out there and you would like to help us make that dream come true, feel free to donate right here to the No Direction podcast. There is no tax deductible receipt for you.
No, we are not a nonprofit.
And we do take cash.
Yes, we do.
We don't need checks or anything like that.
We like cash the best. We do not like Venmo. We do not like Cash App. We do not like electronic payments.
No,
cash.
Because our government tends to think that we can give billions to someplace else, and then they want to know when I pass $60 to Venmo to somebody.
Yes, they do.
They want to tax me on that.
They're
going to give a bunch of it away. So don't get me started on this. But
we also have a coffee fund, right? They could donate to our coffee fund. I mean, you're mainlining it.
This stuff is not free. Okay,
it's not.
No, it's not. Well, you are your authentic self. I've watched you for a long time, and you are the same whether you are working at the chamber, whether you're doing Social by Design, whether you're doing the No Direction podcast. You are the same. I mean, look at you chugging that beer right here on the podcast.
It's a rock star. I do. Yes, I try to be as authentic as possible.
Why?
But I do change the amount of cussing depending on my environment.
Really?
Yes. If I'm around certain people, I won't do it at all. I'll say, oh, no, shoot, gosh darn it. And then in other environments, I might just say shit. And then in this environment, like we heard at the beginning of this episode, which I hope that certain people in my life don't necessarily listen to, I get real raw. And then you take me out for a couple of drinks, and there's actually a group going out tonight at Edgefield.
Really?
Yeah, they're doing Leap Day drinks at Edgefield. I have no idea what time it starts.
Is John going? Lloyd?
I don't think it's John, so it's Randy and Sandra and her husband Dave and Lori and her husband.
Okay.
And yeah, should be a good time. I don't know.
I will find out. Maybe
Today?
We'll crash that and I'll do some recordings.
Oh, there you go. You said you had a life, though. You said you had to go somewhere.
Well, I wasn't being authentic when I said that. No, I was being authentic, just not honest. I have no life.
Well, I know your wife likes to see you every once in a while, too, and you're a pretty busy dude.
Well, she likes to see me, especially with my shirt off. Especially I've been working out.
Boom, chicka, wow, wow.
Yeah. So, no, that's not necessarily true. However, I do want to ask you a question as we start to kind of close out the authenticity conversation. My question is why does authenticity matter? You could just fake it till you make it and be just fine. I know lots of people who make a lot of money and they're fake as all get out.
Well, being fake and faking it till you make it are two different things.
It is until it gets too blended. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're fake at home. You're fake with your kids. Yeah. You're not even the real dude I see at the gym. Like I see a guy at the gym and he's a completely different person than anywhere else I've ever known this guy, even in social settings, etc. And I've known women to do the same thing. And I look at them online and I'm looking at their posts and I'm going, no, that's not you.
Yes.
It's not you. I know you. What is this crap?
So what's your question?
I don't really know, but
okay.
maybe the question is why even bother to be authentic? Seriously, why even bother? Why does it matter if you were never authentic another day in your life and no one would know none the wiser? And even if they did, what would you care? Why not just live as somebody that you're not?
So for me,
if it appeases you,
if
it appeases you to live vicariously through some image you have in your head, who cares? Like, what's the value in you being authentic? What is the value of it, number one? And number two, people who can't do that or they don't do that, what is it that's keeping them from being authentic? I think those are two good questions.
Okay. So the first question is, why be authentic?
Why even bother?
For myself, I think it gives me a sense of pride, and I can take my boots off at the end of the day knowing that I was true to myself, if not for anybody else, right? Just to myself, first and foremost, I got to be true to me, right? Because if I don't feel good about me, that it just, everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, why be true in public, right?
Yeah.
Why be yourself and why not mask and be somebody else? And I think that goes down to trust. You know, if you constantly change who you are in a dramatic way around the same people in different settings, I feel like people start losing trust in you. They don't know, is this the person that's going to talk behind my back today? Or, you know, and I think that's a little bit where mental health comes in. I feel like that's more of a mental health issue than it is a authenticity issue. But for me, being authentic, first and foremost, is for myself, because I need to feel good about how I behave at the end of the day. Yeah. And then my outside self to others, it's about trust.
Yeah. Well, to be authentic takes work, because we are so used to trying to put on that persona for other people, so that they will like us, so that we'll belong, so that, and it goes down to, you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. One of those major needs psychologically that all of us need is the sense of belonging. Sure. And when we don't, we begin to have mental health issues, really. And the way that we express ourselves goes sideways, because we don't feel like we belong. So we start joining gangs and groups of gossiping people, or groups of conspiracy theorists, and really fringe groups, those types of things. Because people don't feel like that they belong, and they don't feel like they're heard when they don't feel like they belong, right? But it takes a lot of work to just be who you are. But once you're there, it's easy to be who you are, because when you learn to be who you are authentically, then you no longer need other people to like you, because your authentic self draws people in, and you do belong. You do belong. And who do you belong with? When you're authentic, other authentic people are drawn to you, and now you belong. Right. And who do you belong with now? You belong with a group of other authentic people, and that group gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Right. But it takes a lot of work to become authentic. It's not something easy. I'm just going to be who I am today and wear my pajamas to work. That's just stupid.
It's not like turning on a light bulb.
No, it's not. But it takes a lot of work. But pretending to be somebody you're not also takes an enormous amount of work. But here's the deal. The work never ends for that person. Every day they get up and they put on their Halloween costume. Every day they put on the filter. Every day. It is an ongoing treadmill, mental treadmill, that they have to perform each and every day until at some point they break and they crash. Yeah. And then all hell breaks loose in their life, and they don't understand why. And they don't have the strength to get up. Why? Because they don't even know who they are anymore. They've pretended to be somebody else for so long. Sure. Somebody told me once, because I used to pretend all the time. I'd try to be somebody I'm not. And somebody told me, and it's a cliche, I think, but cliches are cliches for a reason, right? This dude told me, he said, look, stop trying to be somebody else. Stop trying to be everybody else. You're the only one like you on earth. Be that. Everybody else is taken. Right. Right? You've heard that before.
I feel like that's a famous quote from somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. I
have no idea who said it,
but I hear it in Morgan Freeman's voice.
So one of the reasons why I want to talk about authenticity today is I was listening to the app called Masterclass. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So
I've heard of master classes, but
as a term used to teach, right? Okay. Well, there's an app called Masterclass, and this app has many, many, many different celebrities, like Jenner. What's the mom's name?
Caitlyn Jenner?
No, that's the dad.
Oh, that's okay.
So Kris Jenner.
Oh, Kris Jenner.
Yeah. Kris Jenner teaches entrepreneurship, right? And then like Bill Clinton teaches something about leadership, and you've got Chris Voss teaching negotiation. You have, I know what I did there. You've got Gordon Ramsay teaching cooking. You have sense. You have all kinds of people. Anyways, it's great. So I came across the authenticity. Thank you. My words get jumbled. It's late. It's late at night, man. It's
drinking beer.
It's 4:30. So I came across the authenticity one. I thought, oh, this is an interesting topic, and it's taught by RuPaul. And I always don't necessarily avoid watching like RuPaul shows, but I've never been interested in it either, right?
Yeah.
And RuPaul is a huge celebrity.
He has been around for a long time.
Yes, he has.
He has. He's
Yes,
been
he
around.
has.
I remember when I was in high
The
school,
80s.
he was around.
So that's when
Was it the 80s?
Yeah, it was
Really?
the
That
80s
late?
when he first started TV show.
my gosh.
Yeah, if you think about the 80s, that's 44 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
He talks about authenticity, and he talks about why he dresses in drag. So you were talking about the Halloween costume, right? And so he talks about why he dresses in drag and why he wears these different outfits and why he's very outlandish. And I highly recommend listening to it because it's not what you expect. It's not what you expect at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was going to go a certain way, and when he started talking, it really hits home.
Yeah.
In the authenticity stuff, which is why I asked you. We should probably talk about this and see how this hits for us. You know, because
Well, I know it hits me, but I'm not sure you want to talk about it. You know what? Hey, so this is where we differ a little bit in that, well, we don't have to get into it, but what I believe in the freedom to do whatever you want to do in this country, as long as you're not breaking the law.
Sure.
You want to, if you're a man, you want to wear a dress, then you go wear your dress.
right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I got no issue with that. I wouldn't do it, and I have personal reasons for that. But RuPaul has personal reasons why he does do that.
Sure.
I respect
Yeah.
that. I don't respect the that's lifestyle or whatnot. I don't, but I respect. No, let me say it this way: I don't agree with it, but I'm not RuPaul.
Right.
That's his life to do with it as he chooses.
Right. Yes.
And I respect the freedom he has to do
Yeah.
that. And so,
Well, and it's interesting. I would be really interested to have you listen to that 3-hour. It's a 3-hour class.
I'm not listening to RuPaul for 3 hours.
Just listen to like the first 2 episodes. It's like 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to hear your take on it. It's just
Well, can you give me a nutshell?
no, because
you're gonna
I'm
make
pretty
me
sure I
watch
have
it.
ADHD and I've already forgotten what he had to say to
okay.
me.
All right.
But I do know that it wasn't. It's not where you think he's going to go with it. It's
Yeah.
not the reason why he wears the costumes that he wears.
Yeah.
Isn't the reason that you think it is, which is very profound. Anyways, highly recommend. If you don't have Masterclass yet, I think it's like $10 a month.
Okay.
We're not sponsored by Masterclass, but it's got some really cool stuff on there.
We'll take their money if they want to send us some. though.
Absolutely. Send me all your money, but not
Yeah.
electronically, only cash.
Cash only.
Anyways, we should probably wrap this up, huh? Thank you for being
Yeah.
back as my co-host. I really appreciate it.
You know what? I told you this early before we started, while we were setting all this up. It was one of the highlights of my week. One of the highlights of my week is sitting here podcasting. I absolutely love, because my other podcasts, I don't always have a guest. It's just me and the camera.
Sure.
And so this is really refreshing to be able to go back and forth with someone. I mean, I think I speak for the both of us. I hope so, where I say that I think we could do this pretty much all day, just sit here and have conversations about anything and everything.
Right.
And we could easily do a 3-hour episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just talk about everything. And I love the fact that it is called No Direction, because we don't have a script when we walk in here. I have my coffee, my 80s rock t-shirt. You're
I've
always
got
looking.
I got my disco ball going
ridiculous.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do need a strobe light. That would not hurt. So if you want to give us money for that, feel free.
Yeah, we'll just take all your money.
But-
just give us the money. Send us free rock stars, whatever. You know.
Yeah, well,
We're not picky.
No, we're not picky at all. Well, we hope you enjoyed this this conversation about
Absolutely.
authenticity and a bunch of other things we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You want to close this? I
mean,
I really
that's
have
it.
no direction. We come in
Yeah.
here with no script. We think, okay, we're going to talk about authenticity. We have no idea how to start. We have no idea how to end. Obviously,
Well,
'cause
here's
we're
a way
supposed
to
be
end.
ending this right
Here's
now.
a way to end. Your biggest support to us is liking, subscribing, rating,
absolutely, yeah.
commenting, interacting. Share with your friends. It's free to share with your friends.
Yeah.
And we know that most of the people who are listening at this point are friends of ours, probably, right?
Yep.
And so share with your other friends. You know, if you find some value, if you find some, listening to this nonsense while you're doing the dishes or driving your car or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I would even say, even if you find absolutely no value in this, prank your friends, subscribe them to this podcast.
There you go. Yeah, log
like
in
it
as
on
them.
their behalf. Yeah, absolutely. Share that to
absolutely.
them. And you know what we could do actually is we can help you prank your friends. If you would like, you ever heard of a Rick roll? Do you know what a Rick roll is?
I've heard of it. I know the concept of it, but I've never seen.
Yeah, so it's a link. Somebody clicks on the link. You tell them, "Oh, look at the giraffe giving birth," or whatever. They click
That
the
is
link.
so random. Draft giving birth. Where did that come from?
I actually did that. There was a giraffe at the zoo here in Portland giving birth.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Oh, sure.
So
It's scarred into my brain.
I said, "Oh, live birth! Look, it's happening now!" And they click on it, and it's Rick Astley. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna say
Gotcha.
goodbye.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
he's the perfect politician. He's never gonna let you down. He's never gonna say goodbye. He's never gonna.
I think we should say goodbye.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say
do
goodbye.
that.
Well, hey, bye guys.
Bye.
We'll see you next time right here on.
The No Direction Podcast.
All right, we're out of here.
Bye, guys.